This is the top side of vk6rth. The top board came with the FM880s. It's really just a low dropout regulator. Regulates the 12 volts down to 10 volts and various other switching functions along with SWR protection circuitry, etc. The homemade boards, or the amateur built boards, are these ones here along the side. This one here is a low voltage detector. If the voltage drops below about 11.5 volts, then a tone is generated and placed on the transmitter. Also, there's a CW filter. The actual Morse code that's generated is a square wave. It doesn't sound very good, and it tends to over deviate the transmitter, so it goes through a active bandpass filter. This one here provides the various tone pips, like the timeout reset pip, and lets you know that the time has been reset. This particular repeater has been somewhat modified. Originally the second mute and the audio speaker monitor amp was on that board, but as you saw in the other video, that's in the receiver box. This is now just the speaker amplifier. This is the URC101 controller, and Tony mounted it in a screen box because he found that there was a spurious out of this, and at times it was on vk6rth's input frequency 146.2. Done a marvellous job, and all feed through capacitors, and it solved the problem. On the other side, that's the CTCSS encoder, which puts 123 Hz on the transmission at all times. So if you wish to use that function in your mobile, for argument's sake, you need to turn that on, and the mute will then only open when it receives the 123 Hz from that encoder. This is the audio compressor board, which takes the audio from the receiver and smooths it out audio level wise. It offers about 6 to 7 dB of audio compression. So signals that have low audio will be boosted up a bit, and those that have got higher audio will be wound down a bit. And this is the audio mixer. There's a surprising number of audios that have to go into the transmitter. For example, the receive audio, the Morse ID audio, the tone pip audio, the low volt detector tone audio, the link. These are two link connections. They also have to have audio going into that mixer board, and also there's an availability to plug an external WIA news feed in if required. So a surprising number of audio inputs. They're mixed together, and the output of that actually runs the direct FM modulator in the transmitter. The URC101, it's an EEPROM programmed controller, and it also has a DTMF controller on board with a number of functions, quite a large number of functions available, very few of which we ever use. Plus I think there's 6 auxiliary functions available for switching external relays or whatever you'd choose to do. That's not, very few of those functions are used, even though they're actually there. I think that's a CTCSS encoder decoder. I think that was what was used originally when this repeater was put on CTCSS decode, when we had interference problems, which could well have been this board way back causing that problem. And that's basically it. As you can see, there's feed-through capacitors to isolate the receiver and transmit. I'll just zoom into the various parts as best I can, so you get a closer view of them. Low volt CW filter, tone pip generator. That's the audio driver for the speaker, and the URC101 controller, and the audio mixer board, and the audio compressor board. That's the encoder that puts the 123 Hz on the transmitter, and they're the two. That's a link output, which you can plug a UHF or any other sort of radio into it, in out, and it will link this to another repeater. And there's a second one there as well. The one in the middle there I think is for the WIA news if required, and of course the PA heatsink at the back there. So there you have the vk6rth, a quick view around the insides of the repeater.